Hey everybody, it's me as always, your host Gambit896, and I'm back with another edition of my Welshman's vlog videos. This is number 10. So for those of you who may be new to my channel and you know nothing about this video series, this is where I talk about anything related to comic books, films and movies, or anything that I just feel like putting into a vlog video and giving my thoughts on and discussing. So, for those of you who may be new to this video series, I have some notes up on my laptop, which is off screen. So if you see me looking off screen from the camera, I'm just gathering my notes and just filtering down on what I want to talk about next. So without further ado, let's get into this vlog video. First up, we've had some recent news with Geoff Johns leaving the main Green Lantern series with issue number 20. And with Geoff Johns' departure from the main series, we'll also have the departure of the creative team on Green Lantern Corps of Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, the creative team on New Guardians and also Red Lanterns as well. And this will then give way to some new creative teams coming on board the titles. So we have Robert Venditti of Exo Manowar and Demon Knights will be coming on board to write the main Green Lantern series, and also artist Billy Tan will be taking over the art duties. I'm really excited for Robert Venditti, as I think it's a very smart decision on the part of DC, as from reading the first trade of Exo Manowar by the Sword, which if you guys haven't checked out, I'll put a link below in the description. I think that Robert Venditti knows how to write a really good, fun, entertaining and very quite dense science fiction story. Also, Green Lantern Corps and Red Lanterns, will be taken over by a writer who, up until reading his series under DC's New 52, I had no previous exposure to, but I was absolutely blown away by this guy's writing. And that is Joshua Hale Fialkov, and the book I'm talking about, that was my first exposure to Fialkov's writing, which is a series I'm still quite sad is going to get cancelled, unfortunately, but if the series isn't selling well, then what can you do? It's I Vampire, and Fialkov will be taking over Green Lantern Corps and Red Lanterns. Bernard Chang will be taking over the art duties on Green Lantern Corps, who's also currently doing the art duties on Demon Knights, which is being written by Robert Venditti. And on Red Lanterns, the art duties will be done by Alessandro Vitti. And there will also be a Larfleeze ongoing written by Keith Giffen and illustrated by Scott Collins. There will also be a new ongoing Batman and Superman series, which will be written by Greg Pak, who some of you may know from his work on Incredible Hulk, the Magneto Testament mini-series, or limited series, and also Extreme X-Men, and the artwork will be done by Jay Lee, who some of you may know from his work on the Ozymandias Before Watchmen series. Again, I'll put a link to the announcement in the description. There's also some news over on the Vertigo side of things. There will be two new graphic novels coming out from Vertigo. The first of which is less of a graphic novel and more of a encyclopedia. It will be the Fables Encyclopedia, which will be a encyclopedia of a detailed index of the many famous literary characters who have appeared in the various Fable titles. This will be written by Jess Nevins and will feature a commentary from the current creative team on Fables of Bill Willingham and Mark Buckingham, and also will feature character biographies and will compare the traditional source material of the fairy tale or literary characters with the Fables universe versions. So for all of you Fables fans out there, that might be a worthy addition to your Fables library. Also, the second graphic novel will be an original graphic novel, which will be written by Mike Carey and Peter Gross, which is the current creative team of The Unwritten. It will be an original graphic novel, which will be called The Unwritten, Tommy Taylor and the Ship That Sank Twice. We'll also have a regular cover artist, Yoko Shimizu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He'll be providing the cover art for the original graphic novel. And the summary for the plot is as follows. Exploring the Tommy Taylor novels in a visceral and direct way, this hardcover provides a great entry point for new readers and fans of classic literature. We'll pull back the curtain on how Tommy Taylor's father, Wilson Taylor, devised his subversive literary masterpiece and reveal the blueprint of how a father gives his son vast power in order to accomplish a wider scheme, partially told through Wilson's harsh, intoxicating journal entries and juxtaposed with Tommy's swashbuckling, deep-sea adventures with his trusty companions, Peter and Sue. The story is at once a prequel and a parallel story to the ongoing series. So for all of you fans of The Unwritten, you have a new original graphic novel to look forward to. Also, something which a lot of you might be surprised at or might think is kind of cool. I've been listening to a certain radio show from the 1930s recently, which came about from watching a 4-part video series by Mr. James Donnelly on his other channel, Donnelly 92274, which was of his favourite comic book character or comic book hero of all time. And this character debuted on July the 31st, 1930, as a mysterious narrator on the Street and Smith radio program Detective Story Hour, and from this mysterious host gaining such levels of popularity, this character was given his own radio show. Now, this character is a slouch hat wearing, red scarf clad and red linen cloaked individual with a intense drive for justice for those who would do evil, and also wields dual twin 45 caliber pistols. And the radio host for this series would open with a mirthless, chilling, very unsettling laugh, and would ask the question, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been listening to the 1930s radio show of The Shadow, which is great. The first 26 episodes of the show are voiced by Orson Welles, who provides the voiceover for both roles of the Shadow's alter ego, Kent Adlard, aka Lamont Cranston, and the voice of the Shadow. Now, the show ran from September 26, 1937 up until December 26, 1954, and ran for a total of 18 seasons and 665 episodes. Now, I recently found a very, very large portion with a few episodes missing of the series from 1937 up until 1954. If any of you guys are interested in radio shows from the pulp era, or just interested in the character of the Shadow, I'll put a link in the description to both James Donnelly's 4-part video series on his exploration of the character of the Shadow, and also a link below to the first 32 episodes of the Shadow radio show, which you guys will have the ability to listen to each of the 32 episodes individually, one after the other, in a playlist on this page, which I'll put a link to in the description. And I have to say, James Donnelly, or James, thank you very much for turning me on to this radio show. It's a great show. I'm really enjoying it so far. Admittedly, I've only listened to 4 or 5 of the initial episodes, where we've been introduced so far to the police commissioner Weston, the character of Lamont Cranston, or the Shadow, and also one of the Shadow's agents, and a love interest, or a character that harbours romantic feelings for Lamont Cranston, and that is the character of Margot Lane. So, James Donnelly, thank you very much for piquing my interest in not only in the radio show, but also in picking up some of the reprints of the original Shadow stories or novels, which are written by Walter B. Gibson, which I believe Nostalgia Ventures are currently republishing or reprinting the Shadow stories, which I would very much like to get my hands on a few of those volumes at some point. I believe they're up to 60 volumes currently, I believe, so far, of I believe over 300 Shadow stories or novels were published that were written by Walter B. Gibson, who was an author, a journalist, and also a professional magician at the time, who was asked to bring the Shadow into the literary storytelling genre, and this is the guy who is very much considered to have flushed out and being accredited with creating much of the lore from the radio show and expanding upon it in the Shadow stories or the novels. So that's what I've been listening to recently. Like I said, check the links in the description if any of you guys are interested. Also, in terms of what I've been reading recently, I've recently reviewed the first trade of the the David Less and Colton Worley, the Spider series, Terror of the Zombie Queen, which is published by Dynamite Entertainment. So if any of you guys are interested in that review, again, check the links in the description. And also, I've reviewed the second trade of Jeff Lemire's Animal Man under DC's New 52. In terms of what I've read recently, is a series I'm a bit late to the bandwagon on, but two of my fellow Dark Avenger Plus members, Blue Goblin 01 and his student, Chris the Mount Vernon Kid, they both read this series on a regular basis, and very, very often, whenever they review it, they give it a positive review. And also, one of my fellow UK-based comic book collectors and fellow YouTube members, Dr. Monkeybot, reads this series also on a regular basis, and that is Peter David's X Factor. This is the first trade of the third volume in the series of X Factor, which is written by Peter David, and this first trade collects issues 1 through 6 of volume 3 of the X Factor series, and also volume 2, which collects issues 7 through 12. So you guys can look forward to a double dosage or double feature of Peter David's X Factor series of reviews to look forward to fairly soon. I'm just going to wrap this vlog video up with a few shoutouts to a few people who I think you guys should definitely check out their channels. The first of which is a courtesy shout out and a thank you to the Twin Titans. Both really, really great guys. There's a really great dynamic between the two of them on camera, and I've really been enjoying their videos recently. They've recently done a comic book single issue and graphic novel pickup video, which they had some really great series in that pickup video, I might add. And they've also given me some great positive feedback in the comments on some of my review videos. One of which was Northlanders Volume 1, Seven the Returned, which they said they were thinking about picking up, but based on my review, they were definitely going to check out the series. So guys, if you're watching, I hope you both really enjoy picking up Northlanders Volume 1, Sven the Returned. as I think it's a great first volume, and as it's an anthology series, you can read the first volume, and then at the end of the first volume you can stop reading if you want, but there are also 6 subsequent volumes after, which make up the 7-volume library of Northlanders. And also, if you enjoy Northlanders and the writer or the writer's style, which is Brian Wood, I definitely recommend you guys check out the DMZ Volume 1 On the Ground in-depth review, which I've done on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. So I'll put a link to that review in the description as well. Next up is another shout out to Rue42, a great guy who I chat with on Skype on a regular basis. He's also recently done a new episode of reviews of where he's trying to read himself out of his comic book fort of all of the trade paperbacks that he's picked up recently, and he's also started to read his way out of. So I'll put a link to Rue's channel in the description, and I definitely recommend you check out his most recent Rue Reviews episode. Also, Shea Koshan, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, recently did a spoilerific review of Hellblazer City of Demons, which I thought was a really great review, and I'll definitely be picking up the Hellblazer City of Demons trade paperback eventually. Also, another shout out to a new guy on the scene of the YouTube comic book community, and that is Frank the Comic Noob, who recently did a video showing off his individual comic book collection. A really great guy. He's recently subscribed to my channel and also given me some great feedback in the comments on some of my videos. So I thought I'd give this new guy a shout out as well. Also, another new guy on the scene, Captain Brad 100, another great guy whose videos I'm really enjoying. So I'll put a link to Brad's channel in the description as well. Also, the 2 ladies, Kristen and Jen, on the channel 327 Drama Queen, who recently did a review of the first trade of the new Captain Marvel series, which is being written by Kelly Sue DeConnick under the Marvel Now initiative. Initially, I was a little bit skeptical about the Captain Marvel series, as I've heard some really good but also pretty mixed things about the series. But I have to say, after watching both Kristen and Jen's review of the first trade, I'm definitely interested in picking up the Captain Marvel series when I get around to it. So again, I'll put a link to the 327 Drama Queen's channel in the description. Also, shout outs to 2 good friends of mine, Tony Montgomery, aka Cursiveman on YouTube. He's always a great guy who always gives me great feedback and great comments on my reviews and my videos and whatnot. And I'll also put a link to Tony's Facebook page, which I've recently become an administrator of that page on Facebook, and that is Comic Book Central. So if any of you guys want to share any opinions, horror videos, reviews, anything related to the world of comic bookdom, then by all means share it on Comic Book Central. Again, I'll put a link to the Facebook page in the description. Also, another shout out to another friend of mine, Gary Onesie Angelique, who recently gave me a very nice mention and a shout out on his most recent haul video of comic books, and also where he showed off a few movies, and also a Halo figurine that he got for his brother, I believe. And he also gave me a mention in relation to the Spider Pulp Hero series by David Lisson and Wally, where he mentioned that he prefers the pulp heroes to remain in the 1930s and 40s pulp era, like the ongoing series of The Shadow from Dynamite, and also the new series of The Shadow Year 1, which is written by Matt Wagner of Sandman Mystery Theater fame, from DC Vertigo, which was published back in the 90s, I believe Gary said. Anyway, another great guy. I'll put a link to his channel in the description, and also a link to his Facebook page, which is called Movie Magic Mesmerize Me, where he gives his thoughts on anything related to the world of movies. Movies, Hollywood, film, Gary is pretty much your go-to guy, especially on the Movie Magic Mesmerize Me page. So again, I'll put a link to the Facebook page in the description. And Gary, if you're watching this review video, I have a few movies from a certain time period from two certain actors that I'm seriously considering rewatching and doing some reviews on. So Gary, you may see a few movie review posts from me on Movie Magic Mesmerize Me, depending on if all goes well and I have the time that I can fit in around my studies with school or university and whatnot. So if you're watching, my friend, I hope you don't mind if I post a few movie reviews in the possible near foreseeable future. And that about concludes this vlog video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. As always, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section. And if you're new to my channel and you'd like to see more, please feel free to click the button which says subscribe down there. Like I said, if there's anything of interest to you guys that I've covered in this vlog video, again, feel free to click the button which says expand in the description, and there'll be links to pretty much everything that I've covered in this vlog video. So if you want to check out anything that I've covered, like I said, there'll be links down below if you are able to be able to do so. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, guys.